Welcome to the CEN Show, a platform where we learn from the world community. I'm your host, Roski Mascani. We have Professor Amin Ra here. We have Brother Mashinda. We have Brother Chiwara. And we have Brother DX. Our guest this evening is Brother Hood. Brother Hood is a electronical, well, not electronical, but a technology genius, in my opinion. And so he's been doing a lot of research on different subjects related to technology. So this evening, he's going to talk about AI. I think he briefly, or Brotherhood, was the last show you did, was it AI?
Well, the last show was deconstructing game design. I was going more
Okay.
into games and how they're affecting our youth and how they're being manipulated with some of the games. So AI is in a lot of games, but
Okay.
today specifically, I got a little something different. So
Okay. So this evening, he's going to be specifically speaking about AI. So welcome, Brotherhood, and thanks for coming. You can go ahead and get started with your presentation, brother.
thank you. Peace and blessings to everyone on this call and everyone who will check this out and replay on YouTube. It is an honor today to be able to present this information to you. I feel it is really critical and really necessary for more of us in our community be able to understand what AI is and isn't, and how we can, you know, get control of it and create our own applications and networks to be able to survive in this ever-changing, evolving industry when you're talking about artificial intelligence. All right, let me go ahead and share my screen here. Can you see my screen there?
Yeah, artificial intelligence,
All right,
2020.
so artificial intelligence, and this is kind of like my 2023 year in review. And I am an AI researcher as well as a podcast contributor to the CEN show and a producer as well. And my focus primarily is artificial intelligence and computer science. I also am an educator. I teach advanced placement, computer science principles, game design 1 and 2, and esports. And I'm also the founder of the Business Technology Academy on YouTube channel, as well. I have a Twitter account. You can check that out at x.bustechacademy. And so my thing today is artificial intelligence, and we're going to review some of the achievements and some of the things that happened last year with AI. And so my quote of the day right now is this. And so I want everybody to really understand that artificial intelligence is revolutionizing the way we approach development in computer programs for daily tasks. And so the growing conversation revolves around ensuring that AI avoids causing issues. And so it's crucial to maintain control over AI, to incorporate human values into the creation of these systems and some of these products for them to be beneficial to all of us. So we got to stay informed. We must be informed and require people who are making these systems and comprehend them to make them responsible and engage with the AI. So this is what my main purpose is. I just really want everyone to understand some of the major aspects that have happened here. So the topic today is artificial intelligence, but specifically, I'm talking about explainable artificial intelligence. And so last year, there's a lot of movement in the industry, a lot of consensus making about what these different acronyms mean for the industry. Now, this term XAI, what does that mean? It's a set of processes and methods that allows humans to comprehend and trust the results and output created by a machine learning algorithm, because that's what it is. An AI is a machine learning algorithm. And so this term XAI is basically a method that an algorithm follows to make it transparent, interpretable, explainable, And what that means is the model is transparent. So if the process is extract data, extract labels, test it, and describe it, and be able to, to understand what's motivating the AI to work, being able to explain it. And so in this presentation, I'm going to talk about some things and some acronyms that I could see how there's some manipulation at play with some of these terms. And so I wanted to really, really focus on what that means when you talk about explainable AI. And so this also leads to two big acronyms that are at play right now when it comes to AI. There's something called artificial general intelligence. Okay, what does that mean? Well, that means that a machine or an algorithm can perform at the level of an average human. And so that is what a lot of people are saying that we're gearing up to, we're headed towards. We're not quite there yet, but that's what this term means. And then there's another term that's being thrown around, which is called ASI, which stands for artificial super intelligence. Now, what does that mean? That means that a machine or an algorithm that performs at a level of an expert human. Okay, so what we're talking about is, I will use a slightly stricter definition for AGI, because AGI means, to me, is also being able to act on the physical world as well. So a machine capable of understanding the world as well as a human, practically in every field, including the ability to interact with the world via physical embodiment, better than a human ever could. So this is where we're going with AI. AI already can write better than any human ever could. And in certain industries right now, there is exposure. As we've seen in the writing industry, people are writing scripts using AI, so you need less people to do it. Now, what's happening is, in the financial sector, there's 100% exposure right there. And I just found out a couple of days ago, Citigroup just laid off 20,000 people. You literally can have AI doing your finances, doing your accounting, doing these kinds of things. And that's what these CEOs are doing now. They're trying to assess what's happening with AI. And so we need to understand what these terms mean and understand what some of these platforms are actually doing and how we can leverage that. Because AI is not something that's just scary. I mean, you can actually, take hold, create your own AI to make things better, make your life better in certain situations. But you got to understand when you're talking about retail and what's happening with AI. So this leads to my topic in the category. So my main categories of research for this presentation tonight deals with healthcare, financial services, and criminal justice. And these are categories that are very critical, because when you talk about healthcare, what can AI do with healthcare? Well, AI can accelerate diagnostics, image analysis, looking at x-rays, it's happening right now, resource optimization and medical diagnosis, improve transparency and traceability and decision-making for a patient's care, and streamline the pharmaceutical approval process with explainable AI. Because in healthcare, you got to be able to explain, or you got to be able to interpret, which is more important than explaining. And I'll touch on that definition in a minute. And so with financial services, you're looking at improving customer experiences. We all call the hotline and you get an AI answering the phone. You can go online, a chatbot is you're communicating with. And so with financial services, you got AI that's, doing loan credit approval, speed credit risk, wealth management, financial crime assessments, accelerating complaint issues, confidence pricing, investments, investment services. This can all be done with AI. Now, when you're talking about criminal justice, which is really tricky right now, because you can optimize processes for prediction and risk assessment, accelerate resolutions using explainable AI on DNA analysis, because they're using AI right now to analyze DNA, as well as prison population analysis, crime forecasting, detecting biases in training data and algorithms, which really covers the aspect that some of you may be aware of, which is called smart enforcement. Smart enforcement is a term that's used in criminal justice. So that's some of these AIs that are making predictions and making analysis on whether a crime will occur or potentially will occur whether a crime has occurred or will occur based on some type of analysis before anybody has ever done any investigation. So this is what's happening with some of this AI stuff. And so these are some of the categories we need to understand, like how some of these decisions are being made. And one other thing I wanted to share about criminal justice, which is happening in law, because I have a brother of mine. He's my cousin, but we call each other brothers. He's a federal attorney, and he told me, I asked him, hey, what's going on in your industry with law? And what's starting to happen right now is lawyers are actually using AI, ChatGPT and others, to write legal briefs and turn them into court. And some judges are actually sanctioning lawyers who are turning in this paperwork. And what they're finding out is the court cases that these briefs are representing are false, don't even exist. And so what's happening is, to save time, some of these lawyers are using ChatGPT and AI, thinking that the AI is accurate in all its facts when really it could be incorrect and it can hallucinate. And that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about, hallucinations in AI. So when you have these large language models, LLMs, that's what it's doing. It's interpreting the language and it's coming up with its own ideas. And some of these facts may not be facts at all. Some of these can be hallucinations. And so some of these lawyers who are lazy are actually turning some of these briefs in and getting sanctioned in court. And so this is what's happening with AI. So it's really causing a whole domino effect on every industry, because yeah, it can save you time, but you have to be critical. And so it's kind of scary to think about some of these people who are being represented by lawyers who are really not doing their due diligence for the client. So I just wanted to talk on that real quick. Any comments on that, or
Well, appreciate what you asked, if I understand correctly. When you say algorithm, what is that?
An algorithm is basically a method of doing a process. So like, think of it this way, like washing your hands. Well, you got to turn on the water, you got to get the soap, you wash your hands, and then, once your hands are clean, you rinse them off, and then it's done. So an algorithm is something, a series of steps. And so a computer can follow a series of steps if you code it or program it to do it. And so from those series of steps, you have something called a corpus that represents language that the algorithm can understand. So a corpus is basically not a database, but a series of language that the AI can interpret. And so if you have a prompt, basically a question or an input that you give to the AI is going to follow the process to come out with an output. So that's what an algorithm is. It's just a series of steps.
Okay, so
go ahead.
So when you're dealing with AI, and we've had computers which help you spell words, help you put phrases together.
Right.
Is AI an expansion of what's already here versus a new thing?
Yeah, AI is basically something new.
An evolution.
It's an evolution. Yes, it's an evolution. And this is a big evolution that's happening right now. It's happening so fast that we just are really trying to wrap our heads around it in terms of what it actually can do and where it can go.
Well, some people are already using it for mischievous things and paper. You didn't put in, and that is, for white folks call it national security. I call it national oppression. But because they're using it over there in Hamas right now.
Right.
Using artificial intelligence, drones, programming drones and things this nature, using them for war.
Yeah,
everything the white man gets, he's gonna turn it into a war machine, a violent machine.
That's what drones are. Drones are using artificial intelligence to fly over and surveil. And that's what the surveillance, that's why I said smart enforcement is using AI to police citizens.
Well, they're using it in war too.
They're using it in war. Yeah, and that's one of the things that ChatGPT, OpenAI, which is a company, when it was first put together, they had a policy to not create any, for the military purposes. But they have changed their policy. So yeah, you have AIs that are strictly for the military to help them, gain leverage in wartime. So yes, it is being used, and I think it's going to be used more and more. And as you see in my presentation, you're going to see where this is going because what did we learn? What did we learn last year? Well, we learned that there are many types of AI, but they're not all engineered the same. And I'm going to demonstrate 3 different AI apps that I wanted to share. Video AI has the potential to change perception of reality. And that's the thing that's really new is what the video AI can do. Basically, generating videos and interpreting what's in a video. So now there's a lot going on with the video side. And so you have something called industry standards for an AI that they're trying to, come up with, where you have glass box AI, where you can see what the decision the AI is making, and you can trace how it made its decision. But then you have something called black box AI, to where it's just making a decision and nobody knows how it came up with that decision. Okay, so that's what's happening. You have a term called glass box and black box AI. And so what does that mean? Well, it means that there are regulatory challenges with explainable AI. I mean, we need to have an explanation, but there's also some issues with explainable AI, and I'm going to talk about that in just a minute, as well as corporate battles for market leadership. A lot of these big companies right now are trying to get control. They're trying to come up with their own AI, introduce it to the public, and say, okay, we got the best one. But the thing is, a lot of these AIs are made differently. It's kind of, think of it like clay. You can mold it into what you want it to be. Okay. And so a lot of these companies are trying to get a handle on, okay, I got the best one. You got Microsoft, you got ChatGPT, you got Amazon, you got Google. You have all these companies using some of the same systems, but they're manipulating them to be used in different platforms or different industries.
And they're marketing them?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're starting to market them. I mean, ChatGPT is one. You got Google, you got Bard. And so there's a lot going on with that. And so also government municipalities are beginning to use AI a lot. I mean, that's what the surveillance cameras on the street giving you tickets. I know that in LA or somewhere I saw on the news where about 6 or 7 jurisdictions are trying to identify people using cannabis in the vehicle. And so AI is going to be able to determine if you're smoking a cigarette or a blunt or whatever it is. I don't know. So, but that's what's happening. They're testing out some of these AIs in the community. And so for me, when I look back on 2023, this has been a landmark year and one of the greatest revolutions in technology to date, when you think about it. But a lot of people are distracted and just kind of stuck on the aspect of entertainment. And so you got to understand that AI is really critical and it's affecting all industries. And so what is the benefit? The benefit of explaining an AI is it makes it more trustworthy, regardless of what it does, but we need to, we need to trust it. But how do you trust it? The only way you're going to trust it is if you have some type of interpretation and explaining on what it is and what it does. And so also improving the overall system. So if you have an AI that you can explain kind of how it's making decisions, then it's going to improve the overall AI system. And that's what's happening this year. A lot of people are starting to be aware and be made aware of some of the issues. And also, if you can explain what's happening, you can provide insight against an adversarial attack, where you have an AI that's basically giving out false information, information that's wicked, or information that is really, really, trying to fulfill a different agenda from what it was meant to. And also safeguarding against bias. Okay, because that's one of the things that we need to understand. Regardless of what AI it is, if it's something that can be fine-tuned, then it has the potential to have bias. But you have to measure bias by understanding how it works. And so that's what I wanted to talk about. So what are the limitations? The limitations of AI and explaining it is you could have somebody oversimplify and misrepresent a complicated system, which is really, really critical. and also the model's performance. Which to me is not that big of a deal, because model performance means how well is your AI performing, meaning a lot of times is just how fast it is. Can it execute this many decisions at this many times? Well, it's going to be a little slower if you got to explain what it did and display that back to the end user. But it's an important piece of it. Okay. Also, it is difficult to train a system to explain reasoning, and they haven't got that one down yet, but they're trying to work on it. And I'm going to show you some of the deep psychological things that we as humans can do that they're trying to mimic and they have achieved. Okay. Now we're talking about reasoning. Remember, reasoning, have an AI reason, and that's all based on language and math, and also privacy. If you have an AI that's explaining stuff, it's going to have access to some private information. And who owns that information? Where does that information reside? How long is the information being held on a platform? So there's a lot of stuff that goes into these methodologies. And so I want to talk about this one, which is called dept. If you've never heard of it, it's just an algorithm that's used in DNA analysis in healthcare. And it's an algorithm that helps you explain everything that's happening with your neural network or your algorithm. It looks at everything, all the inputs and all the outputs, and then has a way of you being able to interpret how the AI made a decision. And a lot of these algorithms are free and open source for you to play with to figure out your own system. Okay. And then when you're dealing with some of these larger ones, you're going to have to lease it to make your own business or your own application for whatever it is you want to do. And so dept is one that's been around, I think, for a while, but it's also used. So I just want to share that algorithm for you guys can research and check it out. And I'll read some of this, but dept is used in the field of healthcare. Its primary purpose is to understand the attributes and contributions of different features of a neural network. So dept helps you understand everything that's going on in your network. And what it does is it just compares things in each neuron, because a neural network is like your brain. You have different neurons. It looks at every neuron and applies different scores to the input. So it's something that's really used to interpret, because you can trace back, okay, how did it make this decision based on this or that? Okay. And it's used in healthcare and finance right now. And it's very transparent. And it's really important for where accountability is essential. We're like in healthcare. So dept is one that's been around. And so, I just wanted to share that one with you guys. And then it helps with interpretability because it describes the possibility of comprehending the model and understand how it made the decision, which is really important. But here's the problem. On this next bullet, it says, there is no consensus definition for explainability. So when you talk up to different AI specialists and experts, there's really no clear definition of what does explainability mean? Because if you have an AI that's doing something rogue or something wrong, you can just kind of explain it away. But if you have interpretability in the AI, then you can really get down to the nitty gritty and explain, okay, this is how it made this decision. I can see how this output is. So you got to understand that interpretability is a collection of features that you can that contribute to the decision that the AI has made.
What happened?
And so when you're talking about the next one, as far as interpretability, it makes it possible to confirm existing knowledge that the AI has, challenge existing knowledge, and generate new assumptions. So we got to be able to generate new assumptions and understand how it made its decision. So that's why we need to have AIs that's interpretable. And that's the thing why regulation is needed, because if we have these big corporations bringing some of these AIs to retail market and people are using them, well, is it black box? Is it glass box? What are the decisions are being made? How are they being made? What's happening? So that's kind of one of the concepts that I wanted to share with you guys on that. And why should we?
So are you saying AI have access to a multiplicity of information systems, and it can draw from in
Yeah.
order to provide answers and things of that nature. In
That
other
is
words, we used to humans putting information in the computer,
right.
whereas it seems as if AI have access to think tanks and to scientific, innovative, educational institutions, and can draw from a universe of knowledge.
That is correct.
Or do it creates its own knowledge?
Well, it depends on how you trained it. It
Mhm.
depends on how you train your network. So if you trained your neural network to have all the knowledge related to sports, you can create an AI application that has everything you need to know about sports. If you wanted if you want to train it to do other things, you can do that. And then you can connect it to application programming interfaces that will give it even more information.
And is that because all the information is in the cloud, and so it can access
Yeah.
it through the cloud?
Yes, it can access it through the web, through the internet, cloud databases, or different platforms that are already existing. And I'm going to share with you some of these platforms that are being used that they're tied into and what they've done. And so that's a great question.
Brother Hood.
Yeah, what's up?
So we've been going for about 25 minutes, 30 minutes.
Okay.
We want to see if Mashinda, Chihuahua, or Brother DX have a question so far.
Okay. Go
So,
right ahead.
Brother Mashinda, question?
No questions right now. Listening.
Okay. Brother Chihuahua? Okay. Brother DX?
I'm just gonna say my comment till later.
Okay.
I
Go
want to
ahead,
hear the
brother.
rest of it.
Go ahead, Brother Hood.
All right. So as I'm researching some of this stuff, I'm looking at, okay, how are they going to make an AI reason? How can an AI reason? Because remember, they're trying to mimic what we as humans do. Okay. But how can they make it reason? They haven't gotten to that part yet. They're trying. But one of the things that I see is a lot of researchers are arguing about looking at symbols, symbolic regression, basically looking for algorithm where there's spaces in math where they could fit some kind of new data to make a decision on what they meant by reasoning something. So it's kind of a really like I would say the Wild West when it comes to trying to figure out how they're going to make it reason. And it's still a lot of unanswered questions on that. It has not been perfected, but this is where they're trying to get to, because you have to be able to interpret what this AI is doing to really have trust in it. And so that's one of the things I want to share on that slide. And so when you talk about trust, working together between agents like algorithms and humans relies on people to be able to believe in what the algorithm is suggesting to even trust it. You know, there's a lot of criteria, and it's kind of hard to improve on things. So you need to aim for transparency, interpretability, and explainability. So these are the steps you need to make it to make it trustworthy. Because you can have an AI that works fine, but over time, there could be some hallucinations. There could be some things that happen. There could be some facts that are just totally incorrect. And so this is crucial in medicine and fields, in medicine and things. And so I wanted to talk about something in medicine where they use something called a clinical decision support system, where they're using AI right now. And so what this is it's basically healthcare professionals trying to grasp why a machine algorithm reached the decision. Okay. And this helps build the trust and enhances the process. And this is an example. And this is similar to an example of what a large AI system would look like. But this is a diagram basically for a clinical decision support system. So you have project managers tied into it. You got system designers. You got support staff, system developers. You got architects. You got administrators. Then you have the end user. And then on the other side, you got a sales and marketing team looking at how we can leverage our profits. And so you have all these things working to make this system operate. And so if something's wrong, you have to be able to explain why it went wrong and then fix it or take that offline and start over again. Because this is what I see happening. People relying more and more and more on these systems, like the lawyer who did a brief that had a fake case that it was referencing and he got sanctioned in court. You know, humans are getting lazy. Some of them are, hey, just click a button and it'll do everything for you. No, you have to do your due diligence. So when you're talking about AI and you're talking about healthcare and all these systems that are coming in place to make things faster, how is it making that decision? How can they explain that? That's really critical. And so that's what this slide represents.
Brother Hood,
What's up?
now, with you explaining all of this, all of these entities to deal with, it's based around AI, correct?
Correct.
Do you see that as further complicating things? Like you have an efficient system that works.
Mm-hmm.
Now you bring in AI and you have all of these entities that have to input. Do you see that as more confusing or making it, more complicated than it should be? Do you see that or what?
Well, it depends on its application for AI. Like if you just have an AI that's monitoring for people who it doesn't recognize on your property, then that's a good thing. You know what I'm saying? Like if you have an AI monitoring, surveilling all the then that's a good thing. But if your AI is alerting, you know, some information based on who input the information, but it can't explain, you know, how it got in there, then yeah, it can complicate the thing, you know, the AI. So you have to look at the application of the AI. How is it being used that can make it more complicated? Because you don't need everybody in the process to identify, you know, certain things. But yeah, it's basically taking more people out of the loop and relying on AI to make the decision. So it can complicate the situation where there may not necessarily need to be questions on it. But there's ways of getting around that by really doing your due diligence and testing your application, looking for all the commonalities and all the things that are errors. You got to look at the errors, and that's how you can make your system better. And so that's the part. But the main part I think is more complicated is trying to explain how an AI is going to reason. And this is where they're trying to go with it. And trying to say that the AI is smarter than humans ever, you know. And so that's the part because there's so many things that go into, you know, making different decisions. And so it's really important that we understand the application of it.
How to apply it.
Yes. Brother Schwarber had a
Okay.
question, right?
Oh yeah, Brother
But
Schwarber.
go ahead.
Yes, brother. I'm glad to see you. You
Hey,
look like somebody I already spoke to, that I know, that knows me.
Okay.
I just don't remember where we might have met or through what channel we might have communicated. And are you out of Florida?
No, brother, I'm out here in Los Angeles.
Okay, cool. Question I got for you. You see, like when you go to the supermarket and the food is you're checking out,
Yes.
and the cashier is standing there, and the cashier scans the food, and the register do all the calculations or whatever.
Yes.
Is it an AI that's doing that?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you see, like when I remember when there was a time when I went to the cash register,
Mm-hmm.
and the cashier actually put the stuff in,
Mm-hmm.
but used their own brain to calculate.
Yes.
I remember when in schools, children use their own brain to calculate. Okay. And then calculators came into the mix. And everybody was so excited now, like, oh, now I ain't got to use my brain like that anymore. It makes it so much easier, right?
Yes.
Until one day, I goes into this is when it's all in full effect. Now I goes into a grocery store, and for some reason, the system, like, okay, ain't functioning like it's supposed to.
Right.
or for some reason the cashier has to now calculate
Yes.
how much money he or she done got, and what change to give back. And I can see how difficult it is for them to do that. They're not used to using what this is artificial intelligence. We're talking about the real intelligence, you know, the true intelligence, right? Now,
Right. Yes.
then I notice how these, because we're living in a corporate world right now. I
Yes.
notice how these corporations don't even say, if the system should shut down, I want you to take this little pad, and I want you to, you know, write it like it's like a receipt, right? Write it down and keep record, because we're servicing the people.
Right.
I've noticed how the whole system has turned into where the people are actually servicing the corporations and the businesses, rather than the business and corporations servicing the people.
Right.
You understand?
This is
So now
correct.
I'm saying this to you now. I say all of that to ask you if there's a deeper and a more diabolical thing behind the use of AI, because in the wrong hands, it can be what you call weaponized against the people, subduing their natural ability, mental, and because you know I told my brother there, Ras Hakeem, I said the AI is really African intelligence. You know, it's not really, and what they have created, and they've saw that artificial intelligence could block the African genius from coming back into his original position. When you go back and check the history, you understand what I'm saying? We ran the world. We civilized the entire earth. Okay, what do you think about that?
Well,
or is it just conspiracy theory?
I think that there's really no way to block the intelligence. We just have to be aware and actually what is our attention focused on? That's the part. So we have to focus our attention on these types of things, and we can actually make our own AIs to make things better for us without even having to rely on other corporations. So this is a different time as far as these tools. So these tools we can use. Some of them you actually can generate and create your own AI. You don't have to rely on corporations to create your AI. A lot of these things are open source. And so what's happening is there's a race to have, you know, which AI is going to be the one that is popular. Okay, yes, if you have a budget and you can promote it, say, hey, this is the best AI and things like that, there's a race to be who's the best one. But if your attention is not in that space, then yeah, you're totally not even aware that it even exists. So that part of it, I could see the AI is used to actually distract as well. So if that's what you're talking about, that's one way you could say that it's being used as a mass distraction tool. When you talk about social media and those kinds of things.
Absolutely, it can be weaponized.
Yes, it can.
It can be weaponized to deliver biological weapons. It could, because you mentioned the medical field, how it's being used in the medical field.
Yes.
It could be used to deceive and create deception. Because
yes,
when you look at it, and I'm happy that you're a Black man in that field. You see, because that's why I started my dialogue with you, in saying that in the wrong hands, it can be weaponized. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
And the
that is
people
correct.
in the jurisdiction of the corporations that govern a particular jurisdiction, anybody in that jurisdiction will be under the power of that corporation's AI, whether it be in your private life or in your employment life. You know what I'm saying? As long as you're in that system that they control as a jurisdiction. So that's right. You answered my question beautifully, brother. We need more brothers like yourself to be in that field. We need to make sure we have the AI that's going to serve us, is created by us, and serving us. So I'm very happy that you are in that field, and I encourage you to continue to do as much as you can and I will be communicating with you through this platform right here. Thank you so much.
Appreciate your words, Sharara. Thank you. Now, so I want to talk about the goals.
Might I interject just a little bit?
Go right ahead, brother DX. You got the floor.
I appreciate this so much. Man, the research on this that you've done, man, is phenomenal. First of all, because there's not too many of us on that technical side that can really comprehend exactly what you were breaking down. It was something you had mentioned earlier about the neural network that is involved with AI and the system that AI is involved in. And then Chihuahua kind of touched on something that I am very concerned about. So with like a situation like in the grocery store where you have the self-checkout, so to speak, right? So I've seen the systems where there's nobody in the store. Like you can actually go in the store, put the groceries in your cart or in your pocket or wherever you want. You walk out the store and it automatically checks you out, automatically deducts credits or from your checking account and everything just from walking through a little gate area, whatever. You also mentioned, and it kind of struck me at first where you mentioned that the AI can read your neural network. So I know in the medical field, like the ability for these, for like, for the AI to read your bio, like metrics and everything, right?
Yes, that's correct.
So with that being said, and we talking about weaponizing the AI, and when you mentioned before too, the corporations that are actually developing certain AIs, we already know their agenda. Like there is no discussion on whether or not there's a conspiracy theory on what Amazon would do with AI and what the military is going to do, what our government is going to do with AI.
No
like
doubt.
that's not even a discussion. Like
No
they're
doubt.
already doing it. It's already in play. We already have cashless grocery stores with no clerks or nothing. You see what I mean? That ain't putting no money in our community because nobody's getting paid but Walmart. You see? And you're swiping your own groceries. So just like you said before, we're technically working for the corporations all over again, creating that slavery for these corporations because they're not putting money back into the community. You see, they don't have to now. We're not forcing them to say, hey, put a clerk in this line. No, we get in line automatic, bro. The battle's already lost. You know what I'm saying? It's too many people in line putting masks on. There's too many folks out here that's not eating right and still shopping at and going to Wendy's and McDonald's and still feeding the corporation, still stand in line to vote and do these things. The AI is already in play, bro. Even our radios, our televisions, the smart TVs, you cut the TV on and off, the AIs can control your whole house, your whole life. Tell the car to drive, the car pull up in the driveway by itself, pick you up and take you wherever you want to go. You never touch the steering wheel. Sitting back there eating a peanut butter sandwich that your AI delivered to you 2 days ago.
No doubt. No doubt.
So we already there, bro. Like the only thing what I think the real discussion is going to be, like you said, having somebody and people like yourself that know how to navigate without having to use a chat GPT, because that's their format. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever ideas come out of that is something that's going to be formulated by somebody that does not have our best interests at heart, period. Whatever that chat GPT says or comes back with whatever formula, it is not going to have our best interests at heart of how it's worded, what the words say, how the sentence is put together and the phrase, and when you pause, whatever the case may be, it's going to be one of their spells again. And I think even with the virtual visor is with that AI. You know what I mean? Where you creating sims and avatars inside of this virtual reality, not really communicating with people anymore. You don't know who that person is or what it is. And I just want to add one little, we have been warned. Every TV show, movie, they have already put in play man versus machine, then is man versus nature. So yeah, you can put on your virtual visor and go into the AI world and live the AI life, or you can put on your third eye visor and go out here and hug a tree. It's your choice. And man, I'm just grateful that you on that side. That we got somebody on the inside, bro. Thank you. And
Oh, no
just
doubt. Appreciate
continue
your
the
words,
good
man.
work, man.
Yeah, appreciate you,
No
man.
doubt.
Yeah, so I'm going to continue. I appreciate your words, DX, uh, about some of the concerns because, yeah, you can have, if you just totally rely on the AI system, it can learn tricky ways to meet goals in the training data because basically you can train the AI to do what you want, literally, and then it can give you back what you want. So these tricks, so I want to explain what you designed it for or the full complexity of the data. For instance, there was an example that I read about in 2017, which is really early in some of this stuff when we're talking about AI and neural networks, is an image recognition system. It learned how to cheat by looking at a copyright tag of horse pictures. So basically, the AI was an image recognition system looking at identifying pictures. And so what it would do is look at the pictures and then looking for a copyright tag, and it found a horse pictures instead of figuring out if it was a horse or actually in the picture. And so what it did was another example was in the same year, a supervised learning AI was tasked with looking at items in a virtual world, and it learned to cheat by positioning the object and the viewer by making it falsely seem like it was holding an object. So you can have an AI that could trick the end user into believing something that was true, like some of these large models. And so that's why it's really critical that we look at some of these models that are being introduced. But realistically, though, we can create our own models and train them to do what we want to do. We just have to have the right regulations and the right people who know what they're talking about, because it's really critical, man. It's really, really critical. And so, so what does that mean when I'm talking about explainable AI? Because my purpose today is to really talk about explainable AI, because this is where we're reaching a critical point is we got to understand why why the model made the decision. Okay, so XAI is an implementation of the social right to an explanation. Even if there's no legal right or regulatory law on it, we need to know using XAI. XAI can improve the user experience of a product or a service by helping the end user trust the AI to make a good decision. So if these AIs are being introduced on the retail market to the public, more these large language model systems, XAI, which is a methodology of being able to explain how the decision was made, what was being done, what will be done next, and reveal which information that all of these decisions are based on. Now, this slide here explains what some of these corporations are actually doing. These are large language models that came out last year. Okay, these are the models that are being used to make some of these applications. I'm talking about robotics, healthcare. So you know about ChatGPT, and you see here GPT-4 just came out, and it's revolutionizing the way AIs interpret AI, and AIs can create video. So it literally can create video and trick people into believing certain things by just creating video. And so you have ChatGPT, it's OpenAI. You have Palm 2, Ernie, Inflection 2, Gemini, which is a new one by Google, and then you have Olympus, which is 2 terabytes. It's in 2024, Olympus is created by Amazon. And so see, these are some of the models that are out there right now that if you're an engineer or a programmer or somebody in artificial intelligence, you can gain access to these, create your own local AI on your own computer and build out something that works for you. And some consultants are doing this now and going into these corporations and making their own specialized AI for their particular business. And so what's really interesting about this is when you look at these systems, you got nano, XS, you got small, medium, and large system. There's a lot of different systems. but the terminology XAI is being used more in the industry to say that this is a way of explaining what the AI is doing. But explainability and interpretability are being used interchangeably and are not the same. So someone could say, oh, yeah, you can explain how it is, but we need to be able to interpret what it is. And one other thing I want to talk about on this slide is if you look at this one under the small AI, which says Grok 1, that is the AI that's the basis for the new company that Elon Musk has started, and guess what the name of the company is? X.ai. So X.ai is the name of a new company that Elon Musk has started, but the foundational model it's using is the Grok-1, okay, which is 33 billion different parameters. So parameters means how many things can it interpret? It has to do, just because it has a lot of parameters doesn't mean it's the best AI, okay? But that's a term that's being used, okay? So I wanted to talk about that one. And then look at this. This slide here illustrates what are the achievements that have been done by these AIs. So we're talking about emerging technology here. So you're talking about, now these are some of the things that have happened. So you look at the small model, you got arithmetic, debugging, comprehension. So it can, you type something, AI can understand what you type. That's comprehension. You look at the medium models, you got linguistics. So AI can really interpret language very well. So no matter what you type, you have emojis, GRE comprehension, metaphor understanding, physical intuition, logical deduction. You got, for the large models, then you're talking about geometric shapes, proverbs, okay? All the English proverbs that you can think of, these large language models can interpret and understand. Then you're talking about phonetic alphabets. When you're talking about language, being understand what you said. And then you're talking about elementary math, casual judgment, code delineation, basically looking at code. And then on the extra large models, which is ChatGPT-4 and Gemini, which is owned by Google, you got college level examinations. So you have AI that can pass a college level exam, self-critique, self-reflection, building apps. With some of these large models, literally you can build an app with that would have taken you maybe a year to make, would cut it down in half. Then you talk about spatial reasoning, where an AI can interpret, the spatial reasoning aspect. Advanced creativity. We already know it can create PowerPoints. It can do so much. Then you have embodiment options, which they're working on right now. And then you have what's next? We don't know. Grounding, long-term planning, persuasion. And here we go with some of these extra large models, persuasion. Then you have advanced embodiment, meaning that the AI can look at the world and do something based on what it sees in the world. And then awareness, and then there's more. So these are some of the achievements from 2023. Okay, so these are some of the achievements, which makes you think about where are we going with this? Well, we're going with trying to reason, and it hasn't really gotten there yet. So with this slide, I want to talk about Volkswagen. On the 8th of this month, I saw an article that Volkswagen was the first car manufacturer to actually put ChatGPT in its vehicles. I was like, okay, what does that mean? Well, ChatGPT is in your car. Is it listening? Is it making decisions? Is it interpreting what you're saying? Is it tracking where you go, what you do? Who owns that information that ChatGPT in your vehicle is listening to? Okay, so it's something that we all need to be aware of what's happening. What version of GPT is it that's in the vehicle? What are some of the nuances of their model for Volkswagen? We don't know. Okay, and so these are some of the things that we need to be aware of. Now this is a slide of some of the humanoid robots that are ready for large language models. You have Neo, Apollo, Figure One, which is a company out of Sunnyvale, California, right now, that has a robot that's ready for retail. And let me tell you what it did. I'm gonna show you a video in just a minute. After 10 hours of watching someone make coffee, the robot can make coffee. So basically, this robot, Figure 01, is a robot that just uses video to copy what you did and actually recreate it. So imagine a robot that's watching you make dinner over a certain number of hours and then can go in and do it. So this is where some of the stuff is going. Phoenix robot, H1 robot, and then you have Optimus Gen 2. Optimus Gen 2 is Elon Musk's Tesla robot. So do your Google search, do your YouTube search, look at some of these robots and look at what's happening. And so you see here on the right, this is some of the sizes. These robots, none of them are over 100 pounds. And so you see, these are some of the things that are happening with robots. So basically, using these large language models, the robots will be able to interpret the world around them and understand what it's doing. They then create trajectories in its programming to move about the world and make decisions. So this is the robot I wanted to show. This is a little video, the AI trained robot to make coffee. This is the figure 1 robot I was just talking about. So let me show you real quick.
Most people have no clue that in 2023,
Commercial.
the best way to make money on Amazon is not.
All right, here we go. So check this out. After 10 hours.
Hey, figure 1. Can you make me a cup of coffee?
I can't see him. It's just a blank thing.
Oh, you can't see it?
I don't know if anybody else can.
Can you guys see that?
No, I can't see it.
You can see it? Okay, so maybe it's blocked. I'll leave a link in the chat, but basically, let me try it again. Here we go. What about now?
Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
All right, let's start over.
Hey, figure 1. Can you make me a cup of coffee? Thanks.
So what it did was learn how to correct its own mistakes. And that's what these AIs are doing with video. And so once it perfects its mistakes, then it has it in its model. So that's a self-learning algorithm. And
But the robot has to be programmed to
right. It has to be programmed with a neural network, and then it can do certain tasks, but it has to watch you. This robot just you program it, but it can watch video and learn what you're doing in the video. So the video aspect is some of the newer stuff that's happening where robots can actually just watch video and interpret what needs to be done through video. So I'm going to continue here. I had some more here I wanted to continue with here. Any questions on that particular one? Or
I had a brother, Jabal, out of Canada. He said that AI can get out of control where robots can decide they don't want to deal with humans no more.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We need to really monitor it. A lot of people say that some of these AIs, can go rogue, but with more regulation, with the right people, have some kind of user intervention piece in it. If we don't, potentially some rogue company can come in the market and just.
But AI is universal. Every country is dealing with it.
That is correct.
China, adversaries and things of this nature. Whereas United States may try to get control and regulate to save jobs and to try to alleviate a lot of fears, but that don't mean other people gonna do that.
Exactly. And so that's why there's a lot of, yeah, go ahead.
You have to have a defense.
That is correct.
Rogue.
That is correct. So what I wanted to do now is, can you guys see my my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so I wanted to do now is show you guys a couple of AI platforms real quick. One of them, and these all deal with video and some other things. This first one is called Melobytes. And this is it says where creativity meets AI. This is an AI that has a lot of different things. You can use it for music. You can use it for making edits. You can use it for different things. You can AI script to video, documentary to video, but it's not that great with video. But I just wanted to show you some of the stuff that it does. You got photo collages, AI album covers. You got it'll even write songs for you. Audio images, you can use it as an auto converter. Like say if you were looking for something where you're making a song and you're not sure about, you know, the files, and you want to format the right frequency of the audio, you can just plug it in and just push a button and it'll convert it for you. It also has, this is a TV. This is a channel on something called twitch.tv. This is an AI video channel. So all this video you see on this
What do you guys want?
is AI.
Enough of your interference.
And it plays 24/7.
Yeah, you always think you're better than it.
It's time to teach you a lesson. I never asked for
And then here's another one. They also have, with this Melobytes,
won't work anymore, John.
You're going down.
they have an actual what is it?
If you want to fight,
A radio
John prepared to fight.
on YouTube. Let me close that. So this is AI audio. So this YouTube channel is being ran by AI 24 hours a day. Look how many subscribers it's got. It's got over 1,000 subscribers. It was launched on November 15th of last year. This is nothing but AI playing different videos. And all the music is AI created. So I just wanted to show you that one. All right. Now this next one here, let me turn the music off real quick here. So that's Melobytes. Let me close that. All right. Now the next one I wanted to show you is Pika Art. Can you guys see this? All right, let's open this link. Now Pika Art, I thought was really amazing. You see this video here? All this video you see here was done by this application. So I'm going to sign in real quick and just show you how realistic this stuff is. So if I go here to this, I just said, describe my story. And I said, okay, create a scene in Los Angeles with cars racing in the streets. Now, what's interesting about this is I can even upload images or video that AI could use to make my scene, which to me is really, really crazy to think about, because think about all the bad stuff that could happen with this, and then have it generate a video, like maybe placing somebody at a scene where they weren't, a scene of a crime where they weren't, or a surveillance video where someone wasn't in it. You could actually put them in it with a picture of them. But watch this. I'm going to go ahead and see if it'll generate. Okay, you see here it says your video will start generating soon. And so this is prompt. All you're doing is prompting. And there's a field of engineering called prompt engineering. Knowing how to talk to the AI and making it do what you want it to do is a emerging field in artificial intelligence. And if I don't like, and now these two right here, I made these. I just put up a logo and I had it make something. You can even upload a video, I mean, an image and make it animation. And here I made a video of a peaceful scene with a forest with light showing. And you see how photorealistic this is. You can actually make it photorealistic. You could splice videos together to make your own video. And so these are some of the things that are going on with some of these platforms. And so as you're doing this AI just kind of generates the clips. And you just download the clips. You can use it for what you want. Or you can even use your camera and then have it, put yourself in a scene and then actually have it generate whatever you decide to do. So you see here's the video it just made. Can you guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
See how realistic that looks? And then if I don't like how it looked, I could just hit retry and have it regenerate another one. And continue bringing this out until I have something that I'm happy with. Pika.art. So I wanted to show you that. And then you can upload your own video. Now, the next one I wanted to show is Leonardo AI.
You know, they actually did a movie about this in 2009. What it's called Iborg, where these AI had taken over the city and they were switching the videos to make people look like they were committing crimes when they really wasn't.
Exactly. Well, that time is here with stuff like this. Right now with video, if you really, really wanted to do something like that, I think it's very possible, depending on how much time you had and how seriously you wanted to get this accomplished. And so this is something that is a concern, in my opinion, when it comes to using video and morphing things together to make a new video clip that looks so photorealistic. But look, so this one is called Leonardo.ai. What I liked about this one, though, is look at some of the stuff it's made. It gives you 150 free tokens every 24 hours to make what you want. And then there's something called Motion, where you can actually upload a video or an image and you can animate it. Now look, and you can specify the size you want, and you see the prompt, a dark horizon with a single bright, bold light breaking through the darkness. You just describe what you want and hook it up. Now, a lot of these YouTube channels, some of these YouTube channels are making good money by posting shorts and videos that are totally done with AI because you can't really tell the difference on some of these. And so I just wanted to show that one. But there's a lot that this AI can do regarding art and images. You can even do architecture, making characters, sci-fi stuff, all kinds of things that, photography. And I'm not working for any of these companies. I just want to illustrate some of the power dealing with video because it's incredible when you think about it. Because you can basically make what you want. Like here's a scene here. It looks, this looks photorealistic, but it's totally fake. So those are just 3 tools I wanted to share real quick. And from that, that pretty much concludes what I had to say. But if anybody have any questions or comments or anything that they wanted to talk about, this pretty much concludes what I had as far as presentation for today. And I wanted to thank you guys for your time and thank you for, the engaging questions. And hopefully, I kind of shed some light on some things that are happening right now with AI so you guys can really, speak intelligently about some of this stuff and not be a victim to it, because some people just, go with the flow. It's easy to do stuff. But you got to also be careful about what you're uploading. You can look at some of these platforms. Are they owning your content? You know, what I liked about Melobytes is they delete your content every I think 24 hours. But some of these you're going into a what's called a different type of copyright where you're agreeing to have it shared. So when you're uploading content, you want to look at the contracts, the policies on copyright, intellectual property. So you want to be careful when you're using some of these. That's why it's really important. Some of these AIs are just there to steal your intellectual property too. And if you don't understand that, then you could be uploading something, and then before you know it, before you can even bring it to market, somebody's already done it. So you have to be, be really smart about what you're doing with some of these platforms, and just understand how vulnerable some people are with this. So I just wanted to share that with you guys, and I appreciate it, and I yield the floor.
All right, Brother Hood, that's exceptional information, and you could tell the detailed work you put in and the research. So we're gonna go around the panel. Brother DX.
Man, I'm just in awe right now because with all of the things that just happened where he was explaining in 2023, I think they just giving us a taste, because even that last pitch, one of those models that he showed was a figure '01. I'm sure they probably had a Mark 5 or something like that by now. They've already shown, like in New York, they got the automated police. I seen a video where they had a robot was boxing the dude, and then the AI figured out the movements and knocked the dude out. And this was a professional fighter, so they already then developed systems of AI to, monitor us, to take our jobs. They just, like you said, they fired like what was it, some thousand people.
20,000. Yeah, Citigroup laid off 20,000 workers just the other day. And how do I know this? Let me tell you how. I'm starting to get people reaching out to me to speak about AI. I just got my first offer to speak for pay about some of this stuff. And the company is a multi-billion-dollar company, and he was explaining to me, I was like, so what is the concern? Like, what is it you really need me to share about to some of these people? Who is my audience? And he was like, well, some of these CEOs are really they don't know what to do and how to go forward with some of this stuff with mental health for some of their staff, because all these mass layoffs are coming down the pike and they're not sure how to handle it and how to go move forward. And he was like, Citigroup just laid off 20,000 people. I think Amazon has laid off some people, and there's a few other financial big Fortune 500 financial companies that are going to start laying off people because the financial sector is 100% compromised with AI. Literally, AI can do their jobs, and it's kind of sad, but we just got to retool and be aware,
Yeah, knowledge is power.
Do you
That's for
see
sure.
it taking over other industries like the
Oh,
medical
yeah.
industry or education as well?
Well, with education, it's a little trickier because not every kid is on the same level. Not every kid can read at a certain level to even, because AI is language. Remember, AI, if a kid is going to be just sitting at a computer listening to a video, not every kid has an attention span like that.
No, but you got AI now that can comprehend the level of where that child is and adapt, you know what I'm saying, to
Well, it's not,
that
they haven't
level of
really perfected.
understanding and teach the class, as opposed to, because if they're able to reason, they can see that this particular child has a certain maybe speech impediment of some sort, and
They're not there
you
yet.
know
They're not there yet with that. They're not there with reasoning. They're not really there yet. They're not. And that's the problem, because right now, some of these large models, even though they're big and these big corporations are doing them, some of them are still causing something called hallucinations, where the AI is making fraudulent, dangerous decisions about certain topics and certain things that are false and could cause problems down the road. So we haven't really perfected reasoning yet. Now, it can understand maybe spatial reasoning, like, oh, there's an object in the way, I got to go around it. But being able to reason like a human could, they're not there yet.
But isn't that the same thing like Alexa? Like you ask Alexa a certain question
Yeah.
and she give you an answer. Say like if a child asks Alexa something, the Alexa recognize that child's voice the same way it recognizes an adult voice and give the child an answer. So in response to say like if the AI is reading a book along with a student and this student mispronounces a word, don't you think the AI would be able to correct that child in the word?
Yeah, but that is that's not what I'm talking about. So an AI could correct a child in a word, but how could an AI correct a child's behavior if he has attention deficit disorder? Or if the child is suffering from some type of anxiety at that particular point? So how do we determine if it's anxiety or if the kid just has to use a restroom? So there's a lot of
Okay, because the computer is able to read the neurotransmitters in the body. It knows when you got to go to the bathroom. It knows if you got cancer. It knows when your liver is messed up or if you got a headache and all that. It can read your biometrics. So if the
no, no,
AI
no,
is
no,
sitting
no,
there
no, no,
reading
no.
the
There's a
biometrics of
no,
a
no, no.
child, and know that child got to go to the bathroom, it can be like, please excuse yourself to the restroom now. You know what I'm
Now,
saying?
no, I understand. You're talking about something like super in the future, but here's the problem with that. You have privacy issues. Who's gonna own that healthcare data? How is the AI going to be able to determine which child has what? They're trying to get there, but they haven't perfected that part of it.
Nah, you know what? That'll be very easy to do because when you log on to that application or whatever, it's gonna be in the whatever, and it's gonna the what's that called? The agreements and conditions or whatever. You know, everybody just click it. Nobody ever reads that. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
no, I
Nobody ever
understand.
reads it. And if it's just something that's required like for school or they saying, you know, the politics behind it is, oh yeah, this is great for your student, you know, it's better than ABC Mouse and da 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 da. Just sign up now. It's
No, I
free.
understand. I understand. I understand what you're saying, but the laws and things have to be in place to be able to access that health records and information of students when it comes to that deep. But yeah, if the governments decide, hey, we're going to pass this law for all schools to do this, and if you enroll your kid, you have to sign to agree to that, then yeah, that will happen. But let me tell you right now, these AI systems aren't able to reason like that. They're not. They're trying to make it seem like they can, but they have not. They have not.
Okay, well, let's move on to Professor Ra.
No, I'm good. He's answered everything I've asked because it's here, it's been here. DX was saying from Lexus to remote controls to computers that you can ask the history of this, the history of that, this that, and it pops it right up and then it's writing dissertations for people, it's writing thesis for people, and then they just edit it and take it out where you can't tell that it was AI that wrote it and put it in their own words and change the vocabulary and the concepts or mix things up. It's a very powerful tool if it's done for good, but in the wrong hands, it could be done. And that's why I hear Hood saying,
Yes.
and this is why they talk about passing laws now, but they want to pass laws to protect society as a whole
Right.
from from access. Because you can tell AI you can get into this information and it can go and get it anyway. You know what I mean? I'll find a way. You know, they can program it to get around
Yeah.
getting data and getting information, you know. So it's a process, like you said, it's an algorithm, and it's about a process. What is it processed to do, and
Yeah.
to accumulate this is fundamental use, and you know, it's a trip because you know I'm old school. I'm still counting with milk sticks. You understand? And
Yeah, I
I
mean,
don't, you know, I don't know. But my kids, my grandkids, man, they all up there. And they two of them go to school where you at, brother. And I just hope they get involved in it,
Yeah,
And
yeah,
sometimes you
definitely.
have to draft it. You have to say, hey, you got to come and learn this, because they don't like doing the homework. They don't like staying after school, and they don't like studying. 'Cause I don't know, they want to be things, but they don't want to do the work to be it, except for sports and entertainment. But other than that, when you get into technology, because it requires so much math and homework every day, people don't want to do the work. They're looking for the easiest way out. Why kids don't take algebra and don't take Spanish, because it's homework every day. And when it comes to operating this AI, yeah, you got to be on it. You got to be on it, because it changes so fast and
Yeah,
it's expansive. You got to go in that computer room and stay in there. And if you're going to develop a program, or if you're going to develop your own processes and create things, hey, you gotta love it. You gotta want to do it and love it, And
yeah, definitely.
that's what we gotta get our kids to want to know this, see the value of it, and
Yeah,
how we market it to them,
yeah,
through parents or through some type of way in which they see themselves in the future with this knowledge, And it's hard with all the camouflage that America got to
yeah,
derail ethnic minorities not to go into these fields. That's why they turn them off to science and math, many of them, but not all of them. But,
yeah.
go ahead, I'm good.
Okay.
All right. So we're gonna close, Brother Hood. So any last words?
No, I'm just thankful and honored to have the opportunity to share the knowledge and share the info. And
Well,
I'll see you guys. Appreciate it, and I'll see you guys next time.
okay.
And then looking forward to doing this again in the future. Definitely.
I feel sorry for the people that wasn't on to listen. But it will go on YouTube, as you said, and we'll get some hits, and we'll recommend people to pull it up, and Rosh
Yeah,
will
definitely.
send it out to people. But this was some
Yeah,
in-depth
yeah, and
knowledge
definitely.
that people need to know.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right.
Yeah.
Y'all guys have a good evening, and give me a copy too, Roski, and we'll definitely share it out, and maybe I'll do something and we do a reaction to it.
Okay. So
Yeah, definitely.
next week we got Noble Carlos coming back on, and the topic's gonna be self-responsible code.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to that, to a nice young sharp brother that DX introduced to.
Okay, sounds good, man.
So Professor
Sounds
Ra,
good.
anything come up?
Not yet.
Okay.
You
All
know
right.
me.
All right.
I,
So
I keep a topic in my back pocket.
all right.
All right.
Okay, so each one teach
Uh,
one in Conscious Corner. Everybody have a good evening.
All right, have a good evening.